Good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 6 of Cooking with English Spirit. It's James Lawrence here, joined by Dr. John Waters at Treguddick Manor. Thanks for joining us. John, what are we doing this week?
Good evening. We're going to do some spicy chicken wings, which have transformed miraculously into spicy chicken thighs because of Diddle's absence of the other bit of chicken. So this is quite a bit of chemistry here. So vodka, we've got our Seax Vodka, which is looking in the fridge because that's where I like to keep it. And what I've done is I've taken a range of peppers, some spicy, not so they're representative of different flavours and different heat levels. And I've ground them up with a pinch of salt, a teaspoon of sugar, and about 50 mils of Seax Vodka. Now, this is kind of a chemistry lesson, because why are we using vodka, which seems like a waste of a really fine vodka? And the reason we're doing it is because all of the heat and all of the flavour in the plant material love alcohol more than they love water. So if you're having a hot curry, never drink water, because all it does is bind the heat to your palate. Bad idea. So we wick all of the good stuff into the liquid. You can see we've got some liquid in the pot here. Okay. And we're marinating this for around about 4 hours. And we drizzle that mixture all over the chicken. Underneath, we've got the fleshy side of the chicken, protein, carbohydrate, not much water. And on top, we've also got the skin, which is primarily fat. And the benefit of that is that the majority of spice will go into the top layer, and because there's less fat underneath, not so much of the spice will penetrate the flesh. So what this means is that we can cook something that's both delicious to people who love stacks of spice and those that prefer it milder. So that's been in for about 4 hours. That's just been blitzed with a kind of a spinny plungy thing, my 9 quid tool. And what I'm going to do now is just add a simple bit of flavour to it by grating a little bit of lime zest and kind of, here we go, over the top, and this just adds a different range of flavour to it. And also you've got a nice colour contrast. I'm going to take these out, put them in a frying pan, and I'm going to get a little bit of heat on that frying pan so the underneath some heat penetrates the flesh, and then I'm going to whop them in an oven, hot oven, in my case about 210 for about 42 minutes, or if you want to be really precise, stick a thermometer in, when it gets to 63 degrees, it's cooked. So I'm just going to put the frying pan on there. It's got a metal handle, which means I can put it in the oven afterwards. If I had a plastic one, it would make a mess. So in these go, literally until they start to sizzle, which is about 2 minutes. That just means that if I'm going to put it on an elevated plate in the oven, then the air's cooler than the metal in the oven, and so I don't end up with differential cooking. I've got enough heat in the pan that whilst everything warms up, we carry on as we are. So you can see that looks rather nice already. And what I'm going to do here is I've obviously got all this good stuff, and I don't want to waste it. So I'm going to add a small amount of syrup to that. And by syrup, I literally mean this stuff, childhood memories, refined sugar syrup. And I'm only going to put about a teaspoon in. And this is literally, it's not going to interfere with taste so much. It's just to make it ever so slightly sticky. If I added too much, it will blacken really quickly, because between around about 133 degrees and 180, which is lower than the temperature of my oven, the sugar caramelizes and turns to carbon. And I don't know about you, I think carbon should be in a water filter rather than in my belly. So just going to drizzle that on so a little bit of it sticks on there. Gorgeous colours, these smell wonderfully peppery. So that's quite nice. What's that smell like, James?
It smells absolutely phenomenal.
You're the chief sniffer.
Well, I'm not the chief spice head, but I can tell you that still smells very nice. Not blowing my mind just yet. But yeah, amazing fresh lime in there as well.
Yeah, it does bring it up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The challenge here is, do you put the fresh lime in at the start or the end? Because the argument is, are we just blasting all the gorgeous lime oils to nothingness? I'm kind of hoping some are going to go in, and obviously if we want to top up later, then we can top up with a bit of lime zest. Again, because most of the lime zest, most of these citrus oils are oils, you could make an extract in vodka and then brush it on at the end.
Sure.
Yeah? So you can A, position where it goes, and B, you know it's going to be in that liquid rather than blasting off into the air. So if I zest it, I've increased the surface area, off it goes everywhere in all directions, and only some that's resting on the substance, on the target meat, is going to go in.
Sure.
So it actually makes a bit more sense to paste it on.
Okay.
If you want more flavour.
Gotcha.
Decoratively, put it on anyway. But if you really want to get it spot on, do it that way.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, so the majority, now the good thing in that is most of that's alcohol. So unless we're going to cause a fire hazard, that should be fine. So I'm just going to set a timer for 42 minutes. Oops. 42. 42. Right. That's done. Now, drinking. How about a drink?
Sounds good to me.
So, what we're going to do is, we're looking up earlier classic vodka drinks, shots, and then you've obviously got the quintessential screwdriver, which is vodka and orange juice. You can add Galliano to it and turn it into a Harvey Wall banger. You can dispense with these and go for a cranberry juice and grapefruit juice to give you a sea breeze. Or you can just go cranberry juice and it gives you something I've forgotten entirely, but everybody thinks that's a sea breeze. So, sea breeze too. Onshore sea breeze, we'll call that. So all I'm going to do is, just to give a bit more flavour, I'm going to juice these. This is where the juice goes everywhere, because my juicer isn't very big. So, and it's basically 2 to 1. If you want it stronger, have it stronger. Now, that is called a schoolboy error, because what I wanted was some zest and some rind off that. And if I try and do that, the juice is going to go everywhere. So, thankfully, safety orange.
Ah, excellent.
Yeah, always have a safety orange.
Stunt double.
Yeah, stunt, yeah. No oranges were severely maimed while they were in the making of this. So I've got a little cup. As you can see, technical error, much bigger. That's not going to work, but I'm going to try it anyway. So, so I'm just going to see if I can get some of this in here without most of it going everywhere.
Seems like it's working pretty well.
That's ruined it. This is gorgeous. I mean, fresh orange juice is something else. It's obviously great to be able to get the stuff in shops, but it's nowhere near as good as this. So, colour's great. One thing I didn't know until relatively recently was that orange is a winter fruit. So they grow in the Mediterranean in the winter. So ones that are in the summer are actually older. So if you get your oranges later in the year and they haven't been chill stored, you're getting a fresh orange. Now, the interesting thing with oranges is that if they've been cold stored, it's quite an interesting point. You can tell, because if I was to cut the zest, start zesting this, an awful lot of water and oil will come out. Whereas if it was fresh, it would just be oil. It's a bit like a spud. If you've got a spud and you start chipping it, and all of a sudden there's water everywhere, that's a cold stored potato.
Right.
So to my mind, I always buy potatoes with dirt on, because you don't store them with dirt on, because de facto you've got a lot of bugs, and the longer you leave the bugs on there, the more likely the spuds are going to go off. So if you want fresh spuds, go for dirty ones.
Sure.
Right, so that's enough for getting us going. There's some nice orange juice. I'm going to get some bits now, some ice and stuff. As ever, the best way through this is a chilled glass, because then you don't have to add so much crushed ice. Just a bit of crushed ice. A bit of crushed ice. Now, this is a bit like scones or scones. Cream on first, jam on first. What do you do? Okay. So if you want to mix alcohol better, and you don't have a shaker, you just do it in a glass, it's alcohol first, and then the heavier material second, because the weight of the heavier material allows the mixing of the alcohol. Otherwise, alcohol just sits on top.
Sure.
So that's what we're going to do. I'm just going to get a bit of zest, so a little bit of orange zest. I'm going to go for a bit of lemon zest. We're going for the triumvirate. As a classic scholar there, James, you should be proud that I'm using such
Very good.
ancient
Classical points.
classical points there, eked out.
Got to come in useful for something.
Didn't want to say. So I'm just going to go for a double measure of vodka in there. Layer these in. This vodka is super smooth. We'll come to discussing the finesse of the vodka in a moment, which James will talk you through. This is made from sugar beet. I mean, this is a ridiculously simple drink, but it's delicious and very summery.
I've never had one with 3 different citrus peels in it before. That's interesting.
Charming, isn't it? Now, do you know, I might grate some dark chocolate on the top of that.
Oh.
Because that makes sense. I think that's ridiculous, but it's worth a go. And
Whose is this mine or yours?
that's yours. Yeah.
Right, well let me just have a go on that
Go number 1.
without.
Good.
Gosh, yeah. I'd say I'm not usually a fan of screwdrivers because it really just, you just get vodka really just
Blasting through.
yeah, blasting through, whereas that is, yeah. It's funny, you still get the creamy notes and then get the creaminess of the vodka actually. That's not lost with citrus at all.
There we go. Let's see if that makes any difference. Now, looking at it, just looks like it's got dust on top. So I think...
Good job I've seen what you've done to it. Good job we got the evidence.
If I was served that, I'd say, could I have a clean glass, please? But anyway, let's see if it makes a difference. I'm just wondering if that cocoa notes are going to go in there and whether...
Yeah, it does.
Does it work with the orange?
Yep. I don't know whether it's because it's hit me on the nose as I've got the flavour, but I'm
Yeah.
definitely getting a little bit of cocoa to taste as well. That does make a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you go for?
I'd definitely go with cocoa.
Would you?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's try some.
Good without, but
So-
yeah, just...
Actually, it doesn't look that... It does look a bit sandy, actually. Not one for the drink, or not one for the seaside. Well, like that. Do you know, I haven't drunk a simple vodka cocktail for an awful long time.
Because you tend to overlook them,
And
wouldn't you?
They're sublime.
Yeah.
Because actually what comes out here is, you know, the orange juice, you've obviously, that goes on a long time. I think you're getting, those orange oils coat your mouth. And I think they just makes it live for longer.
Sure, yeah.
Rather than, you can imagine getting, the worst case of that would be a rectified spirit, neutral grain spirit, serve a concentrated orange juice out, or orange juice made from concentrate. And I can see why people will go away from that.
Which is, of course, what you get in pretty much any bar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, I think that's a world of difference.
World of difference, yeah.
Would you like to talk us through why the vodka is different?
Yes, of course. So for those of you who hadn't seen this, we've been making vodka for a very long time, small batches longer than most, but we've bought this one out under this name recently. It's 42%. One of the key things that makes it different is this is distilled from sugar beet sugar, as opposed to the often used wheat or grain in the UK. We use sugar beet for a couple of reasons. One is because as this is distilled in East Anglia, there's a hell of a lot of the stuff. So we like to use things that have a provenance from near the distillery. But also, long story short, using sugar beet has an effect on the quality of the vodka that comes out. So it's quite different to a grain vodka. It gives you an amazing creamy texture, flavour underneath, and there's all sorts of things we do to the process to make it good as well, but you can tell a vodka made from sugar beet, and it's a damn fine one. I have to say, it's probably about as good as you can come across in this country. So yeah, we love using sugar beet for all sorts of reasons. We use it as a base for our gin, our cucumber spirit, our liqueurs as well. Just presented in its most basic form, it's absolutely gorgeous. This is single distilled. It's distilled once as opposed to the oft touted 3 times. And we distill it only once. We've talked about in another video, we have to go to great lengths to be able to do it. But the result is that we keep all of the flavor in the base ingredient. We don't blast any of it away. We don't distill it away. We don't carbon filter it away trying to strip out the bad stuff, which often means the flavor's gone. Again, we're all about taking great stuff out of the soil, really great British ingredients, and expressing its flavour in interesting ways. So what you get here is a vodka that's got underlying flavour, a signature of sugar beet. It's smooth enough to sit at 42%, which to be honest is how I usually drink it, which is why I never usually think of putting it in a vodka cocktail. So it is very refreshing to come back to something like this. So as we've already touched on, if you're not a vodka fan, you never think you've tried a good vodka, or you've had Smirnoff, maybe Russian Stand, a couple of other ones, still think it's not for you, go for one like this, a genuine small batch British vodka. We haven't redistilled someone else's, we've made it ourselves, and you can, as usual, you can taste the difference, and that's the end of that. So yeah, bloody good vodka.
Well done, James.
Cool, I've earned that drink, haven't I?
You have. Have another sip, and then we'll get on to the accompaniment with the chicken. Marvellous. I'll just clear that away. Excuse me. And so what we want to do here is make a coleslaw. So I thought nothing quite as nice as a coleslaw. Nice, crunchy, high acidity, goes well with the fattiness of the chicken. So a really nice complement. What have I done? I've made a very simple vinaigrette. Most classic vinaigrettes are made with a ratio of twice as much oil to vinegar. So I've turned this on its head, and I have here some really good olive oil, some fresh lemon juice, and some good vinegar, which I've put together. I'm going to mix that together and coat my coleslaw with that to give me a really nice fresh crunch. Red cucumber, this isn't red, sorry, well, it's not even a cucumber, it's red cabbage. It's a bad day today. Red cabbage is what I went for, couldn't get one, so traded for standard cabbage and a red onion. So, and of course, carrots are essential to this kind of dish.
Would you say there's a difference between red and white cabbage other than the colour? Or?
No, I don't think so. Personally, I can't tell the difference.
Sure.
I think it's gorgeous to look at. And so all we're going to do is shred all these things. With the onion, I prefer it not shredded, so I'm just going to thinly, reasonably slice it, warp it in a bowl, and then dress it. So it couldn't be easier. So we're just going to thinly slice this, and then we're going to break it up when it goes in a bowl. So good. Onions are really good. A lot of wild garlic about at the moment. How's your wild garlic experience, James? Talking about alliums in general.
Yes, very good. Gosh, what did we put in the wild garlic pesto we made the other day? That was wild garlic, leaves, bulbs, stems and all. Some little parmesan. Little didn't do any pine nuts, which is what you meant to use, so we went for walnuts, which is a little bit more bitter. But yeah, we managed to even that out. Plenty of oil, etc. in the end. So yeah, that was gorgeous.
And did you use the leaves or did you use the bulbs?
Everything.
Everything, the whole plant.
Yeah.
Bulbs quite small this year with the flowers?
Yeah, they're not. They certainly don't. They don't look anything like what you'd expect from what we're used to from seeing, massive garlic bulbs. They're just more like roots.
Yeah.
I have to say, as my disclaimer for anyone being particular, I only took a few bulbs up because you're not supposed to take the bulbs out of the ground. Sometimes they came up by accident. Not a lot I could do about that. But yeah, you can use if you're harvesting wild garlic. You can use that. You can just cut it off from the stem. The leaves, you can taste them raw, gorgeous, as well as the flowers. My friend actually pickled some of the heads of the flowers as well. We did that at the weekend. So, yeah.
So lots of good stuff out there.
Lots of good stuff.
Yeah, if you are going to pick the plants, be aware of the 1982 Wildflower and Plants Act, which prohibits that sort of behaviour. other than leaves and stuff. So yeah, if you see a nice little wild orchid somewhere, don't. That's my advice. So there we go, some carrots shredded. And then we'll just do a bit of this. Just cut this down. Bloody hell. We can try that. That's that.
Yeah.
Should do it. And I'm going to slice it. Now you can do this, you can slice some of it and you can shred it. It's very much just a difference of texture. So I'm doing some of it sliced, some of it shredded. And these box graters, really handy. This is all down to how much do you want to use. You use the proportions that you like. I'm roughly doing 1 to 1 to 1. So.
Cool. I don't know if my knowledge of the metric system doesn't cover cabbage to carrot to onion.
I'm
Some of a cabbage.
I
Yeah.
was going for handfuls. So, and these things are great. You know, lots of fibre, low in fat, other vitamins present, good summery food, without having to resort to excess starch. So, here we go. So that's my stuff. Dress away, and then we're just going to move it around a bit. So, and the good thing with the lemon juice and the acidity is that it preserves. If you were to do this with just carrot as it is, then the carrot would obviously oxidize really rapidly and go black. And so with the acidity, either in this case from both the vinegar and the lemon juice, then it doesn't go black, and that will last for a couple of days. So you could serve this today or have it another day. Then you're just going to taste and adjust the seasoning to whatever level of salt you like. So you've got two seasonings. You've got vinegar, which and salt, both of which enhance flavour, but pepper changes flavour. So if you want to stick with what's in there, you're going to use those two for your aids. If you want to dynamically change the taste, then you're going to supplement with pepper. So that's rather good. Have a sniff, see what you think. Even try some. There's a little spoon there. Try that.
Oh,
Have your feedback.
it's very light with the vinaigrette, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
I must say I'm used to having coleslaw with mayo in it. But yeah, talk about wanting to
that's why
de-starch.
I was going to go for mayo, but I thought the fattiness of the chicken would be too much for the mayonnaise. Good.
God, that's fresh.
Yep.
That is very light.
Nice and crunchy. Classic summer evening meal where you want to have a drink, but you don't want to walk away from the table as if you're close to term. So yeah, all good.
That has got simple and summer written all over it. That's gorgeous.
Lovely. So we're now going to time travel forward to the future. Well, I've just time travelled back into the future.
Whoosh.
Wow. And I can honestly say it was very unsuccessful because it was about a 30-minute wait. And if that's time travel, it's not worth queuing. Anyway, there we go.
So what's happened?
What we've got here is the stuff that's come out. And you can see we've got lots of oils from the chicken, but it's beautifully cooked. It's lovely and tender. So we're just going to leave these. I'm a big fan of leaving any meat that comes out of the oven to rest a bit, because, you know, it's what tenderness is about. So we're just going to bring these onto a plate, slightly cooler plate.
And just one more time, how long have these been in the oven for?
These are in for 42 minutes in my Does Never Change Aga, which is about 210 actually. You can put a probe in these. If you're at 180, which most medium ovens kind of are, I would normally just run those for probably 50 minutes thereabouts. So they look great. We're just going to put some. I always like dressing with herbs if I can. Dressing food, that is. I don't tend to wear them. They fall off. So I'm just going to. Got some tarragon here. I like tarragon. Parsley would work very well with this. So I'm going to put some bit of that on, just for look and taste. So tarragon bruises very easily, so only one cut. Just put a bit on, so we've got some nice looking stuff. I mean, the thing about food is that if you can, you want it to look good, because that kind of gets juices flowing. So we're just going to leave that for 5 minutes. How are we going to time it? I'm going to use my 3-minute timer, which actually is sold as a 3-minute timer. These are great, actually, so I'd recommend most people, if you want to play one of these hourglasses, remember one as a child, and that's sold as a 3-minute timer. It's clearly never been calibrated, so it actually runs at about 3 minutes, 18 seconds. So
it's a good job you can time travel.
It is.
Yeah.
I should have had one already decanted to demonstrate time travel. So what we're going to do here is plate this up. So while it's going on, and that, just get your nose in there actually, because the spices and the tarragon are amazing. That really is something else. Oh, I mean, it really is something else.
Yeah.
It's the peppers.
Again, that doesn't smell dangerous. I don't know if it is yet, but yeah, that is.
Gonna find out.
Yeah, and tarragon just
Hope
looks.
you've got your safety mouth on.
How much do one of those cost?
On Amazon.
Can I get that on Prime?
Everything's $9.98, isn't it? So we've got some of this here, and
Just get this back in the picture.
oops.
There we go.
So in here we've got our wonderfully dressed, beautiful. Look at that little thing. It's good to leave this soak a bit, because you get all those wonderful vinaigrette around your thinly sliced vegetable, and then it's excuse hands, so just plate that up. And we've got a gorgeous meal there. That's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, it smells amazing.
Have a good old whiff. Swap that around for you. And I shall get you a sharp knife so you can... Oops, no, we've still got a few minutes left on the time travelling device. It's amazing how slow time travel is. So what flavours are you picking up there, James, as you have a sniff? What's striking you about that?
Let me go back in again.
So it's nice to have...
Oh, well, I tell you what, there's not. I'm not getting overpowered with spices on the chicken actually.
Great.
Which to
That's what we want.
wuss like me is fantastic, but there's definitely something there. A little bit of the tarragon. It's working really well with the coleslaw.
Mm-hmm.
The really fresh zinginess of it, just the vinaigrette rather than using anything heavy. It smells delicious.
Okay, so shall I cut you a slice, then you try?
Please
See what you
do.
think, and go from there. So just perfectly cooked, lovely crispy skin, some caramelization on the underside, so that's gone really well. Just going to get a balance of stuff on there for you. So nothing
Now
else.
I'm going to have a go of this with skin on.
You are. You might find, you know, we've really got the, hopefully we've got the spice to a level that's, spice is great if you enjoy it. What you don't want is a meal ruined by spice. So that's what
I agree.
That's what we're after, really.
We might find my head 50 metres away,
Let's hope not.
blown off.
Good.
It tastes amazing. There's an initial hit of spice, but the spice level remains constant.
Good.
It's not building up and up and up. That is actually a perfect spice level for me.
Great, great.
That
And
is.
that's what we're after. We want got to enjoy food, and you know, we've all gone to Indians and other well-known purveyors of spice, and it's just been too much. And whilst, you know, you've got two choices: you can man up, get your chest wig on, and burly it through the evening. But at the end of the day, it's got to be a pleasant evening. And so spice is meant to augment our palates, not to nuke it. And for me personally, like yourself probably, because we do an awful lot of smelling, tasting during the day in our working lives, we don't want our palates nuked or numbed by things that are of a scale that we don't enjoy. So what we're trying to do here is present things that are really interesting. So I'm really delighted you like that.
Now, as thighs, these are delicious, but I can imagine if you whopped this on a load of wings and if you served that to anyone that came round, oh my goodness.
And a very easy evening meal. You know, you prep this at lunchtime, everything's soaking, you've got your guests arrive, and while you're having your pre-dinner cocktail or whatever drink that you like, your aperitif, they're in the oven doing their job. Coleslaw, what did that take me? Did it take me 5 minutes? I doubt if it took that. You know, you get a good body of it, serve it, absolutely delicious, simple, summery delight.
Sure. And the answer to can I put vodka in my chicken wings
yes,
or thighs?
Just use that one.
Just use a good one. Brilliant. Well, thanks very much for joining us again. And yeah, let us know what you think. Cheers.